patience, and I am gonna finish the Astro Doodle. Just a second here. Hello, Love Triber. Hello, Anthony. Hello, Necessary. Hello, Ivona. Good to see you all. Thanks for dropping by. So, just before I really get too stuck in, I've kind of avoided splattering my chart with lots of red ink because I feel we all need a little bit of relief, and I'm focusing more on the comfortable, sweet aspects that are happening right now between like the Pluto Aries vibes here, very similar over here. Also, this is very fleeting, of course, because the moon moves so quickly, but right now at this very moment at showtime, the moon is in Cancer within a sweet harmonious balance of Venus and Saturn. So it might feel as though, like if you've been very stressed for the last few weeks, last few months, this might be just a little bit of a breather, just a tiny bit, where your body can relax a little bit and just take some of the pressure off. Because there's so many scary things going on in the world. So, an interesting one here. I guess I should be a little more realistic. This one here. Ding. The sun is conjoined with Neptune, so I can't really put... Yeah, I'll just put a blob. I'll just put a big red blob here. How about that? There we go. Back to more normal TarotLumination red horrors. All right. So there you go. Cheers, everybody. So good. Fresh new batch of iced tea. Hi, Tina. Greetings. Hope you're doing okay. Hope everyone's doing okay. Gosh, let me just go over here and say hi. Don't don't worry, Tina. No worries. We might just have a chit-chat hangout show tonight. No readings at all. Who knows? I've had a very interesting week. Pretty much been crippled the whole week. I couldn't hardly walk. And it's just some very, very old wounds with sciatica that got triggered by stress. That's all. We carry a lot of stress in our body, and the more stressed we become, the tighter our muscles tend to clinch around our skeleton. That's basically what it is, because what we're doing biologically, physiologically, is trying to stabilize ourselves. And if there's a lot of instability, if there's a lot of external instability, and we feel it in our bodies, mind, hearts, and souls, our body has a way of dealing with it. In very, very simple terms, it's what I just described. And in my case, I have a traditional skeleton, like most people, and surrounded by muscles and tissues and everything, and all the vital organs and everything. And then when you get tense, sometimes you can get very, very tense, very, very deep down. You don't even know it's happening. And you get these deep, deep muscle tissues that tend to spasm or clamp down around the spinal cord, or around the neck, or around the lower spine and the hips, or in the knees and the calves and the feet, sometimes in the arms and shoulders. And it's all an attempt by the physiological body taking messages from the gut, okay, over here, our second brain, taking messages from here where our gut is telling us there's some scary stuff happening right now, and we need to hold steady in order to take the hits, to take the knocks. And I see it in the astrology, and I just happen to get particularly badly slammed. And so, yeah, there you go. So I just wanted to explain that, but I've tried to use as little medication as possible, instead just being really nice and gentle to my body and avoiding doing physical things that I know naturally trigger old wounds. So I'm recovering, and it feels good. It feels good to feel good. What it's done is it has allowed me, okay, meloxicam is no longer helping. Oh, Tina, meloxicam, I don't know about that one. There's so many drugs out there in the world. Meloxicam. Oh, maybe it's one of those, there's so many things, like there's muscle relaxants, I just had some, I think, what's it called? Flexerol or something, and also there's lorazepam, which is like a muscle relaxant, like diazepam, which is like Valium, basically. Then there's all the opioids. I try to avoid all of it if I can. My usual resort is aspirin, but that wasn't doing anything. Aspirin has helped me tremendously over many, many years, and I still take it when I need to. And I thought I needed to, and it helped a little bit, but yeah. Hey, Tina, yeah, you're not the only one with spinal issues. There's a lot of people on this channel with spinal issues. So, yeah, going back to spinal issues again, I noticed that over time, when I would feel very stressed or frightened about my life, whether it's like finance or my love affairs or my home or stability or employment or taxes or savings or health issues, if I get really, really frightened, I get really, really tight. And that especially can happen around the lower spine. And it becomes so tight, you don't even know it's happening because it's so subconscious, because our body, our brain does not want to admit that, hey, I am frightened. I am so frightened, I'm locking up. It's like being paralyzed. It's horrible. And I don't like admitting that to myself, so I tell myself everything's great, everything's okay. And actually, in its own way, it is. But what I found out was that, again, I had to do a lot of my own homework, and I used to have a girlfriend who was a pharmacist and also very well connected inside her hospital with some of the top physicians. And so we shared a lot of knowledge that way. And I found out that it can happen anywhere on your body, but in my case, and a lot of people with sciatica, lower spine issues, or anything along the spine issues, if there's a lot of nerve damage, the gut brain, this brain here, not this one, this brain here will try to find ways to stabilize your skeleton, okay, so that your skeleton and the joints do not move in such a way that impact the nerves. Because people with sciatica and spinal damage often have movement in the spine and in the legs and arms and feet where the nerves are being crushed. And when those nerves are crushed or under a lot of pressure, that can trigger tremendous amounts of pain. And with full-blown sciatica, you can end up becoming crippled or unconscious with pain. A lot of people end up with in hospitals, major surgery, a lot of hardware implants, a lot of drugs. A lot of people are terrified of the surgery, so they resort to drugs, powerful, really powerful painkillers. And like Tina is talking about, you get to a point where some of these just don't work. I went through a period where I was going into the hospital every few weeks in an ambulance. and because I didn't have really any proper health care at the time, and they would shoot me up with syringes full of morphine. And I kid you not, the syringes were the size of a medium-sized tube of toothpaste. That's an enormous, astronomical amount of morphine. And they would just do it, and they would just roll me over like in the emergency room, and they would just take this massive syringe and go right into my lower spine. And of course, it would help up here because it disconnects your brain from the sensation of pain. But it also got to the point, again, Tina, it got to the point where it doesn't matter how much morphine they would give me. The pain becomes astronomical to the point where you just literally black out because your brain can't cope anymore. So it basically tells you you might as well just die. And so you black out, you go unconscious, and your body starts to create enormous amounts of its own, what's it called, opioids, or your own natural painkillers that are inside of you, and it just floods your body, absolutely floods your body with your own natural painkillers. But that usually happens in a state when you've either been shot and you've lost an arm or a leg, or you've been in a bomb explosion, or you got hit by lightning, or you had a major car crash and your limbs are dangling off of you. That's the kind of pain we're talking about, and the kind of way that your body deals with it. But it's different for everybody. The sciatic and spine pains come out in so many different ways. Sometimes it's like somebody sticks a dagger straight into your spine or into your leg. Sometimes it's like somebody takes a really long needle and sticks it into your butt or into your foot or your calf or your thigh. Sometimes it feels more like a very deep, dull pain where somebody hit you with a baseball bat right across your spine, your shoulder, your legs, your butt, whatever it is. And it's a very, very deep, crippling, debilitating pain. Either way, it's basically nerve damage. And I've been dealing with it for 32 years. It's a long time. But I've got it. I've got it all dialed down. Nobody knows unless I tell them. But this last week was difficult. It was very stressful. I looked at the astrology and I kind of go, well, what do you know? Duh. Because I am heavily impacted by the astrology. I also watch a channel to keep aware of the solar flares, the different solar weather, the solar maximums, solar minimums, the amount of ultraviolet, the amount of solar radiation that's coming in and out of our planet, because it's like a pulsing energy field. It's always going up and down. More electricity, less electricity, more protons, less electrons, and so on and so on. And our bodies are hypersensitive to this stuff, whether we like it or know it or not. Another one, of course, is the geomagnetic poles, not the theoretical pole, not the actual orbiting pole, but the magnetic poles, which wobble. So all of these things combine, the planets whizzing around. When we have what we've had recently over the last few months, this massive compression of planets, like 4 or 5 planets in Aquarius for a while, 4 or 5 planets in Pisces for a while, and then going through the transition, whether it's 3 or 4, in Aquarius, 3 or 4 in Pisces. That's a tremendous amount of compression of energy that comes from like one aspect of the solar system, and it does impact us in so many different ways. Hold on, I want to read the chat here. Pulsing chain across her. Oh yeah, yes, yes. I don't like narcotics. No. It's horrible. It's very scary. Okay, Toral is great. Tordal, yeah, actually makes. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to talk about any kind of exchange of medications here because I don't want my channel to be flagged. okay? No, it's horrific. I don't like it. I hate it. I absolutely hate drugs. I don't like taking any kind of drugs. I don't like marijuana. I don't even take alcohol anymore. Don't like any types of stimulants, depressants, antidepressants, narcotics. I've done it all. I've done all of it. A lot of times because I had to, because I didn't know what else to do. But I'm at a point of almost like it's not serenity, but it's very, very simple, where really all I do is eat healthy food and drink water, and I have a cup of coffee in the morning, and that's it. I try to get gentle exercise, and I try to I try to live by example, where I surrender to the reality, to the moment. And I trust that I am guided and I am protected. And then whatever happens, happens. And I just accept it. And I let energies flow through me as much as possible. It's actually very hard for me personally to do it. And I've trained myself for many, many years to do this. But it's very hard because I have to willfully make this happen. Because if you knew my astrology is very, very harsh. It's very full of hard, heavy squares that are indications of extreme willfulness, defiance, and basically saying, having this, born with this feeling of like, just the opposite of what I've been describing. Like, when I was young, I had this belief that if I don't see it, I don't believe it. If I don't feel it, it's not there. If I can't see you, I don't know you. And it was an extremely claustrophobic, very selfish, hyper-selfish, self-centered way of existence. And that's how I operated. And I didn't ever think of myself as being good or bad. It's just how things were. I learned the long way and the hard way that being hyper self-oriented to the point of the exclusion of anything and everything else is actually a very limiting, suffocating way to live. And so I deliberately open myself up, even though there's a huge part of me which does, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I would probably be very happy like living like this with my YouTube in a very private, singular type of manner. But again, like most people, it ends up that I do need human interaction like anybody else. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to get gasoline. You have a referral for it. Oh, Tina, that's good. Everyone here is very medically oriented, health oriented. Let's put it that way. Thank you, Ivona. Hello, Fluffles. Yeah, I don't have any bookings. It's probably going to be a very light evening. So, yeah, if you want a reading, you know what to do, Fluffles. We'll get to a readings. I'm just having a bit of a rant and a chat right now, hanging out with everybody. Where's my tea? I'm just going to have some tea. Thank you. Anyway, I want to give you an example of things where, you know how I do these little lists of things that are on the kind of forefront of my perceptions. And it's not just me, it's across the whole world, So, as you know, I love to, every day I probably spend 1 or 2 hours just combing through anything and everything I can find that I guess correlates with my views of the world and the channels of energy that are out there, so I can match correlation. So when I look at my charts, I can go, this because of this and that because of that, and I can see the connection from here and there. And so, let me go to the chart. Let's start over here. So, I was talking to Love Triber about a week or 10 days ago, just before I started to get very stressed. I was talking about how we've had this compression over here for months. It's moved on. We have Mars in Aquarius, which is hyper volatile. Pluto in Aquarius, hyper volatile. It's all about war and revolution. And it's the same energy. I'll put it this way. Just imagine you were a beautiful creature out in the woods, and you were born free and wild and healthy in some kind of population, whether it was chimpanzees, hyenas, monkeys, gerbils, owls, rodents, rabbits, deer, whatever it is. Very, very, very pure. And then you're wandering around and you start to feel entangled, like, it's difficult to walk, it's difficult to breathe. And then it gets worse and worse and worse, and you start to feel like, I feel like I'm tied up with zip ties everywhere. My chest is locked up. It's like being trapped. And that's what's happening across the world right now. A lot of humans, there are 8 billion people, are starting to feel as though they are ensnared, trapped, debilitated, removed from their natural sovereign freedom. And it's very, very frightening. And with Mars in Aquarius, this is the energy of the freedom fighter. There's a tremendous urge right now for humanity to fight for its freedom. So you're seeing that exploding all over the world. Tremendous amounts of violence exploding everywhere, because there are billions of people who they're beyond being pissed off. They're raging, furious, physically, uncontrollably angry. It would be literally like a deer caught in a deer trap, going absolutely berserk, trying to escape. And then the deer sees the hunter coming towards them to put the kill shot. In other words, the deer goes absolutely ballistic. And if the deer can actually break out, then it's either going to run very fast and very far to get away, or it's going to try and kill the oppressor. That's the energy we're dealing with right now. It's all over the world. It's moved on, the compression has moved on, and it's a much lighter feel now, but the fuse is lit, okay? Now we've got all this energy piled up here in Pisces, and the thing I was talking about was how the sun was going to transit along with Neptune. And what that would do would be a very, very bright spotlight on all the unhealthy aspects of the Neptune in Pisces vibes that we've been seeing for years. But it's reaching a crescendo right now, especially in the United States, and especially in China, especially in Russia, and especially in a lot of countries that have totalitarian, authoritarian communist regimes of total imprisonment and tyranny, okay? Millions, hundreds of millions, billions of people are outraged, enraged, they're furious. And the spotlight is the sun shining on the Neptune, and we can see the perpetrators. We're seeing the perpetrators, okay? Hello, Robin. Hello, Esther. So, in my perspective, what I felt was there's the storyline of, what's his name, Navalny. He was a very bright light who shone a very, very bright light on all the very, let's say, shady stuff that goes on in Russia. There's a very, very bright light happening in Washington, D.C., exposing the extremely shady criminal stuff going on in Washington, D.C. It's full exposure. It's even on the mainstream news. It's even on the hardcore extreme left-wing news. They can't avoid reporting it. So they're trying to report it, but at least make it sound that it's not quite so bad and it's actually somebody else's fault. Yeah, I'm doing mini readings, Robin. I can probably handle one or two. I think Fluffles is going to book one. And then, yeah, I could do two, yeah. So it's really shining out right now. And of course, the North Node is, again, here, very tight with Chiron. So Chiron in Aries is very, very painful for the self. There's a lot of people in the world feeling that they've been betrayed by the relationships in which they had placed so much trust. And that could be a country, a population, a currency, a banking system, your family, your tribe, all of that, okay? So anyway, it's like getting to the point where you live in a town or a village or a city where everything starts to smell of sewage. And enough people start to get pissed off and angry that the local government says, okay, we better do something about this. So they bring out the inspections and the light, and they go around trying to figure out what it is. And they do it night and day with huge spotlights, and they figure it out. Oh my God, our whole system is completely corrupt and dilapidated. Okay, so that's what we got. And now what do we do about it? Okay, Jupiter is getting pretty close to Uranus right now, so we can expect a tremendous amount of instability in the global geology. You know, things like fires, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and drought. It's going to get very extreme. And the same thing with the global financial system. Right now, things are just taking a little breather, but it's going to amplify and get very, very unstable. Okay? Next, I just want to go through a couple of things that it's like, this is like a, what do they call it? A stream of consciousness, okay? So, the thing that kind of got me pretty scary was scanning all the channels where I go and the news sources where I go. It could be Associated Press, it could be Reuters, it could be ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, it'll be X or Telegram, or my favorite, what I think of is high integrity independent news sources that tend to be heavily censored on YouTube and other places. Try to balance it all out. But the theme that really stuck out to me was this one here. Martial law. Okay? That's coming out more and more and more in the headlines. And it's a very scary thing because it's part of the journey through what they call the Hegelian dialectic, or through the Cloward-Piven strategy. How to turn a healthy, happy population and economy that has a lot of sovereign wealth, sovereign identity, strength and power and integrity and honesty. How can we destroy that so we can superimpose a hyper acute control system of a handful of elites over a population of billions of powerless people? That's the tricky part, okay? Because that's what's happening in America. There are some elites who want to destroy everything good about America so that a so-called brand new world belonging to the whole globe order, an organization, NWO, that is operated by a bunch of people who are way above the American president or the Russian president or the China president. You have to understand that's how it works. There are levels of power way beyond what we see. Okay? No, don't do super chats. Do not do super chat. You're just throwing your money away. My channel has been demonetized. They don't let me have any money. So even though they run commercials, they take all of that. So I'll just explain it again. Hold on. Give me a second. I just saw that on the screen here. Hold on. So to book a reading, you go to TarotLumination.com on another device or another tab. Go to the donate page, click the donate button. The payment processor comes up. You can swipe a card. Scroll down, choose swipe a card, run it through there, put your donation in, and it will show up over here, and then you're good to go. That's all it is. Okay? Thanks for pointing that out. Do not do super chat. So we've reached a new level of fear where martial law is a version of control that uses violence if necessary. Straight on, in-your-face violence from the military. Not the police, not your local security guards, the actual Army, Air Force, Navy. But here inside America on land, it would be the Army. So that's martial law. It's already happening in New York City and several other cities. They've brought in the National Guard, but it's already a telltale sign. And for people who understand the things that I talk about or see the gist of the direction of where I'm going, this is all planned. Everything that we're talking about is planned. Martial law is planned. It's part of getting control of we the people, because in the United States we have more freedoms than anywhere else in the world, if you can believe that, despite the oppression that we have here. So in order to destroy our Constitution and to rip out all the most vital, most valuable components, it has to be destroyed from the inside. So, we're seeing it. Basically, fomenting chaos, that's what's happening. It's happening most obviously in the big inner cities, especially the Democrat-controlled inner cities. It's starting to spread to conservative and rural populations. It's spreading not just with illegals, but also with militants. It's like swarm, and we got millions of people swarming around now, and it's all planned, it's all organized. You have to understand that. We're getting, on top of that, we're getting sabotage, fires, explosions, attacking our food chain systems, chicken farms, beef farms, plantations, grains, crops, wheat, corn, soy. They're attacking our transportation systems, our power electric grid systems, our hydroelectric systems, our telecommunications systems. We're getting overrun with crime. Crime is being legalized and self-defense is being criminalized. Also, the weapon of disease is being spread around like confetti. Obvious examples are the latest scandals with Boeing Airlines, sabotage. The other thing is the New York subways, very obvious examples. The other recent example is Tyson chicken foods and so on. And another very important example is Haiti. Okay? Now, with Haiti, we're seeing it live in real time. It wouldn't surprise me at all, Tina. France, boots on the ground. So, the thing about the Haiti situation is just one more part of the storyline. In Europe, we're looking at the Ukraine war. It's all planned, okay? In the Middle East, we're looking at the Jews versus the Arabs, the Muslims. It's all planned, okay? And what's the interesting thing about all of this, if you really, really start to dig deep, it's a process of destabilization, which is built into the Cloward-Priven strategy, which is built into the Hegelian dialectic strategy. And guess who operates all of this stuff? letter I, letter A, also letters D, Letter O, letter D. Department of Defense. Central Intelligence Agency. There's also multiple agencies that work with these things, and NGOs, the United Nations, the World Health Organization. They're all operating to destabilize planet Earth. Okay? Going back to the story I started with over here. The hunters, the predators. They are laying traps all over the world to ensnare humanity with zip ties. Our mouths, our arms, our legs, our brains, everything completely destabilized so that these predators can feed on us. And it's all fed through a system that we call the government to make it look like it's legitimate. And then the global telecoms tell stories to make it look like, oh my gosh, there's a huge war in the Middle East now. Oh dear, we have to go and save them. Oh, there's a huge war in Eastern Europe. We have to go and save them now. And it's all BS because the whole idea is this works. This is it's almost disgusting to talk about it, but. Excuse me, I had to take off my hoodie because I was getting a bit warm. I have a lot of lights on here in the studio. Sometimes the heat piles up. So, it's a very weird phenomenon when you you dig and you dig and you dig and you dig and you realize it's very, very simple. There's just a handful of extremely wealthy, powerful elites who just want more power, more money, and more control than ever before because they're looking around planet Earth and realizing, my God, there's 8 billion people here. We can farm them. We're going to farm these people. Some of them we can farm. We can just put them through a meat processor. Some of them we can harvest energy. Some of them we can eliminate because they're useless. And then we'll figure things out from there. So the destabilization, it's all managed, it's controlled. In other words, these folks here, that's part of the American federal government, they work as a team. They go into a place like Haiti. Okay, I'm trying to say these words so that the channel isn't flagged. And then they send in what are called operators or agitators to stir stuff up and to foment instability in a way that's already happening. It just needs to be sparked, okay, and lit. And so that's what's happening over here. And so you've come out with these absolutely ridiculous stories now about, the cannibal military rebels are coming to America and they're going to start eating Americans. Okay. So there was actually a situation years ago, and there's a little bit of footage out there on the social media, but there's really not a lot of people eating other people the way it's being described in the media. But it sounds very good in the stories in the press. But essentially, what is happening over there? Look at this little tiny place, okay? It's hyper unstable. Look at the other places that I was talking. The Middle East and Eastern Europe, they're hyper unstable. And guess what's very, very close to those places? It's mostly oil and gas resources. America is losing its grip because America has basically dominated the world with its colonialism for decades, but it's losing its grip now, so it's fighting harder and tighter to maintain its grip. And it's very, very tragic when you think about the dark shadow side of American behavior. It's very sad. It's it's really shameful in a way. Because, the way I look at it, the United States, I'm not going to do a USA chart here, but the United States is born with an Aquarius south node, okay? I'll mark it over here. America's born with an Aquarius South Node. So you have this natural ingrained compulsion to go and save the world for humanity. Let's rescue humanity and create an idealism for humanity. And so Americans and America is known for that. But it's also being heavily perverted because it's in some ways counterproductive when you get a bunch of well-meaning individuals going all across the world trying to empower people who are very, very poor. That's bad for business in America. America doesn't want the competition. So it kind of creates these fake humanitarian operations which are actually used as Trojan horses to get into a place and create sabotage and foment more chaos and more destabilization so that, okay, I'm going to do it with my little globe. Stay there. I'll be finished with my rant soon, okay? So here we are. I live in this place over here, and I think this place is amazing. It's absolutely beautiful, and in the healthy expression, we have our Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, and I believe we should live by example and maintain that and operate through the Leo North Node, where we live by example. We carry ourselves with pride, dignity, honesty, majesty, courage, having fun, living life, leading with authority, kindness, and generosity. That's the Leo North Node vibe in its healthiest expression. But again, with a lot of things with the North Node, a lot of people slip up. They can't handle it. America's born with an Aquarius South Node and the moon is there. So, we default to that, and it's become heavily corrupted. What I would love to do is see this version, the healthy version of the United States, live up to itself. In other words, reconstitute the Constitution, redeclare the Declaration of Independence, and get on with it, make ourselves awesome, and then mind our own business. Allow these places over here to grow and prosper and become their own sovereign selves. Allow Haiti to become its own sovereign self. Allow all of Southern American countries to become themselves. Allow a lot of sovereign nations in Africa to become themselves. Enjoy the benefits of their resources. Over here, the benefits of their resources and their intelligence. Over here in the Middle East, enjoy the benefits of their resources. Here in India, here in China, here in Southeast Asia, here, everywhere. But instead, what has happened is the feds, the people at the very, very top, in other words, FED, the U.S. FED Reserve Bank and banking system, in collusion with the U.S. Fed GOV, in collusion with all the other big ones, WEF, UN, WHO, CDC, IMF, World Bank, all of those folks are part of the elite, which includes the BlackRocks, Vanguards, Blackstone, State Street, and multiple others. They're the ones that actually own everything. They own everything on Earth in terms of like business and resources and enterprise. And they just want to consolidate it for themselves. They don't want to share. There's so much. We can share. We can all be happy. But we have to live by example. The shadow side of this place here is that a lot of harm has been done under the guise of goodness. And I think it's very shameful and tragic and unnecessary and very immature. So I'm hoping we can grow beyond that again. So the whole idea of this destabilization thing is to prevent the poor and developing countries from having even a chance of evolving and developing into healthier places. In other words, classic storyline. If Bill Gates really wanted to, he could go out and provide pure water systems for lots of countries in Africa. Just like that. if he really, really wanted to be that helpful. Same thing with South America, same thing with the Middle East. But it doesn't. It flips it upside down. They lie. They pretend that they're doing something useful, but what they're trying to do is destabilize and undermine and disempower and trap, okay? In order that they can harvest your energy, harvest your life force, milk you like a debt cow, like a slave, okay? Because that's what they're doing here in America right now. Tyson is the latest scandal. It's mainstream news. You can't take it back. They have admitted they're indoctrinating, 50,000 illegals to be employees now, and then they're firing thousands of legitimate American citizens. Okay? That is a classic example of this that's all happening. The thing about this thing I talked about earlier is that it gives the elites an illusion, an excuse to superimpose their power even more. And basically ends up like we all end up like we're in China. I don't want to live that way. The actual machinery that they use to maintain this destabilization and maintain perpetual war with the military-industrial complex is through our military-industrial complex. The DOD and the CIA, they tell the Fed what to do and how to do it. Okay? So, anyway, I've talked about this. This is the thing I wanted to talk about. Why don't we just, I don't know why we can't. I think the reason why we can't, there's so much resistance to living out the American Leo North Node is because it's not very strongly aspected in the American charts. And the South Node is strongly aspected. And it makes things kind of tragic. Also in the American charts, we got Pluto in Capricorn retrograde, directly opposite Mercury in Cancer retrograde in the 2nd house and the 8th house. So it's a perpetual war between we the people and our ability to have sovereign. Here's another example. Farms, American farms. What was it? I don't remember. Love Triber would know this, but what was it? 140,000 U.S. small family farms were closed down or gave up in the last couple of years. That's tragic as far as I'm concerned, because what's happening is the big global conglomerates, the Monsantos, the Archer Daniel Midlands, they're all coming in and they're taking over. And what's going to happen is this, what's called the Great Replacement, where anyone who would be kind of like healthy middle class American, healthy working class American, or a moderately upper class American who is contributing, they will be basically stripped out of the economy and replaced with a slave labor economy. And the middle class, working class, and upper middle class will become redundant and impoverished. And guess what happens? A lot of them are very heavily armed. So that's why the elites need martial law. So what does that tell you? Oh, we are on a path to what happened about 250 years ago, before things stabilized, civil war. Okay, I said it. I said it on my channel. Okay, probably shouldn't have said it. But anyway, let's move on. Let's do your readings. Come on. Enough with the doom and gloom. The good thing is when you vent this stuff and you get it out there and you think, well, this is how it is. Things are exactly the way they are. And if it doesn't make sense, it's very, very important that you figure out what's actually going on as opposed to what you're being told is going on. You've probably noticed that there's the big election in 2021 on the 6th day of January. That storyline is not over. Okay, people? It's becoming more turbulent than ever before. And again, Sun conjunct Neptune. So we're going to see what happens. I'm just going to put this away. Let's put this away. Let's get on with it. I'll just shut up now. We don't need this. I'll put this aside. I'll put this aside over here. I'll put the pens away over here. And now let's have a look, okay? Yes, Tina, it's very scary to see my book unfold in real time, okay? Hey, James, hi. Just want to say thank you for the... oh, I'm glad you got something out of your reading. Thank you. Oh, the map. Yeah. Thank you, Necessary Truth. Fluffles, by the way, you started your business. Oh, just that's okay. That's fantastic. It goes to jail. I see that, Esther. It's getting very, very, very feisty out there. You've probably noticed, right? Yes. Very, very feisty. I will do Robin first. Okay, give me a second. I got to get set up here so I can do some live mini readings. So bear with me for a few minutes and I'll get things all organized. And go from there. I got to get some cards. And then... let's have a look here. Clickety click. I'm just managing a bunch of software so I can get the readings all set up. I'll do Robin's first. Okay, give me a second. I need to get some. So Robin's Realms readings. You're going first. And then we're going to do Fluffles, okay? There we go. All right, that's good. Okay, now we need a few minutes. I will scroll back through the chats and find it all out from your notes, okay, Fluffles? So give me a second. I want to get over here. Check through the chat to see if Robin left any notes. I'm just going to scroll back, okay? Give me a second, folks. I see it. I got it, Robin. It says here, issues about the legal. What's holding up your legal case? Okay, let's have a look. What kind of messages? Thank you, Rob. That's okay. Let's see how we go along, Esther. All right. So what's happening about Robin and her legal case? What kind of messages do we have for Robin? Let's bless this deck. Bless every single card. Bless the artist and the artwork. Originally from Pamela Coleman Smith, very gifted woman, incredible. The technology. Let's bless all the softwares, the cameras, the lights, the computers. The platform itself, YouTube, as much as I curse them, I can't. It's hard to do this without it. You know, the Zooms and all the things that we do to get this thing rolling. All right, let's have a look. What kind of messages do we have here tonight for Robin regarding her legal case? Very interesting. Let's have a look. All right, I'll clear this. I'll come back to you, Fluffles, there, okay? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at external influences. A lot of you know, of course, this is my situational spread. It's like a diagnostic tool when you go to the auto parts place and you ask for help. They run outside with their little black box. They plug it into your car and they tell you, oh my gosh, it's your transmission. Oh no, it's your catalytic converter. Oh no, it's your mass air sensor. All of that. Ooh. Yep, All right, let's have a look here. External, I usually attribute this to the planets. Let's just have a look, okay? Two of Cups. Okay, so in the context of a legal situation, my feeling with the Two of Cups here is that I'm not going to say that you are blessed. All I'm suggesting is that it's like, to me it feels like things are very, very simple. Now sometimes in legal things it can be very, very complex, but the underlying nature of things is very simple. It's very, very pure, and there is potential for a desirable outcome that would be in your favor. Okay, Robin? However, it's very fragile. Okay, with the Two of Cups energy, you have to remember that it's a very, very delicate, very fragile energy, which can be undermined and lost and broken by the slightest betrayal, deception, lie, manipulation, and bad intentions from somewhere. So what I'm suggesting, what I'm feeling from here, Robin, is that it's almost like, let's assume the best. Let's assume that your legal case has all sorts of merits and demerits, and you've got your rights and so on and so on. But if it's a legal case, that means there must be some contention somewhere. And obviously you want it to work out in the best way possible for you. So with the little Two of Cups here, my feeling is just kind of go in, stay optimistic, be your natural self, be loving, be loved. Do not allow yourself to be sucked into any kind of vortex of deception, betrayal, legalese, embattlements, and things like that. And just, it's almost like the KISS rule. Keep it simple, silly. KISS. Okay? Let's just keep things very, very simple. Let's not assume the worst, okay? Let's not assume the best. It's better if you just maintain your integrity and keep yourself pure, okay? Let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay. So with the Death card, it's very much about transformation, transformational energy healing. It's sometimes I think of this as the chrysalis card, chrysalis energy, where there's the energy of the caterpillar, moves into the form of chrysalis, and then morphs into the butterfly. The caterpillar doesn't know it's going to become a chrysalis. The chrysalis doesn't know it's going to become a butterfly. But it's all one thing. And the butterfly cannot come into existence except through the chrysalis and the original caterpillar. And so in your situation here, Robin, what I'm sensing is that this whole legal matter is about going in, let's say, going into a situation where the legal event, for better or worse, is highly transformative for you. And then you come out the other side, not necessarily a new person, but basically transformed. In other words, let me take both sides here, okay, Robin? Let's say you go in with all the best of intentions, well-meaning, and hope. And as you get into the chrysalis phase, you get crushed and demoralized and feel like, my God, this is horrific. Either way, you're going to come outside the other side transformed. And you might be the new evolved version of Robin's Realms readings. Now remember, we got the eclipses coming up. So with the eclipses, there's always something that is eclipsed away out of a situation, okay? Either way, with the Death card, we're talking about transformation. Right now, it looks like you're going into this with innocence and hope and not necessarily expectations for the best outcomes, but more gentle, more like, it would be nice if things worked out, okay? What's the challenge here? Okay, my feeling here with the Justice card is that you don't really know which way this is going to go. And justice is supposed to be equal for everybody, whether you're a billionaire and a politician, or whether you're a homeless person, or whether you're ambitious, whether you're the criminal, or whether you're the defendant. Justice is what it is. The thing about the Justice card in here, it makes me feel is that, because you're asking a question in advance of an outcome, in other words, what's going on with my legal case, you're stuck because you're not the judge, you're not the justice, you're not the attorneys, you don't know what's actually going to happen until it happens. So you're living utterly at the mercy of justice. So the question is, how legitimate is this justice? You've probably seen all across America and across the world that the legal system has been heavily weaponized against certain types of people. Hopefully it's not you, but it could instill fear, okay? And the legal world, the legal system, as we know, and I know from experience, can range from being very, very high integrity to the lowest forms of criminal behavior, where these folks who supposedly represent justice are more criminal than the criminals. So if you are fearful of the justice system or the adjudicator or the judges, it's understandable. And you can't control it. You don't have any control over it. So you have to live with that fear. And of course, with these powerful cards here, their major arcana, it may feel very fateful, like, holy shit, I don't have any say, I don't have any control in the outcome. So that could be a little bit scary. In other words, a lot of people would be scared of the Death card, like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be transformed, I don't want to be me, and then end up as somebody else on the other side. I don't want to have to go through a shredder or go through a juicer machine or a pulping machine and squashed and stretched and then spat out the other side as a completely different entity. But that's sort of what we're dealing with. How do we proceed here? Let's have a look. Okay. Go in, expect the best, and prepare yourself for the worst, okay? I mean, it's kind of simple, obvious, I guess, like if you're asking a friend, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to deal with this situation? It could turn really bad, okay? So what is it? How's this going to work out? I don't know. I'm totally at the mercy of the court. I don't know. So with the Three of Swords, if, for example, Robin, you are aware that in your legal matters, your legal situation, there is the potential that things could turn out against you, not in your favor, where you might feel betrayed, where you might feel as though you were not served by justice, or where there has been determined that your case, your situation was not worthy, it did not have merit, and that you ended up getting screwed. If you're aware of that potential in advance, and you're hyper aware that no matter your most optimistic look, you don't know the outcome. Transformation is guaranteed, but we don't know what it is. With the eclipses coming, something is going to be lost, removed, okay? It might feel like you're getting betrayed, screwed over. Maybe there is somebody who's deliberately working against you, deliberately trying to undermine you, especially if it's something very personal, some kind of betrayal, some kind of treachery, where the nasty people prevail. It's possible. It does happen. It's like anybody who takes a situation to court and the bad guys win. Because of what we talked about here, where sometimes the people involved in the justice system can be as criminal and corrupt as the perpetrators. Okay? So I hope I didn't scare you here, Robin. Keep your fingers crossed. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. In other words, let's say you get a very negative outcome and you turn around and you go, shit, damn, oh man, I got screwed. It will be an idea right now to start putting that into calm language. In other words, okay, let's say I get screwed. Let's say things do not work out for me in the way that I would like for me and what's best for me. What am I going to do now? What am I going to do from here? From this Three of Swords onwards. Okay, if this is what it is, what do you do next? What do you do now? If you got screwed over, if you got undermined, if you lost the case, if it went against you, what are you going to do from there? And you deal with it, okay? This is not, there's no point in taking this personally as though like, well, you're up there. If you lose in this case, obviously it's going to hurt, but then you have to move on. Do you refile it? Do you ask for an appeal? In other words, okay, so that's one course of action. If there's a negative outcome for you, what do? Do you just walk away and accept it, or do you recycle it again and go for an appeal? Do you, however that works, but I'm hoping this reading helps you to get a clear overview of what's going on. Okay, thank you, Robin. All right, I'm going to shuffle this up. Hope I didn't scare you. And then we're going to move on to Fluffles. All right, let's have a look here. let's have a look. Oh, I see some notes there, Robin. Hold on. What does this say? Oh no, I will be fine. I'm not putting any energy into it except truth. They won't win. They just like to be tight, like to fight. Okay, I guess. But the battle is God's, so I'm good. Okay, that's good. They're taking a good, healthy attitude. You know those kind of people that try to postpone and all that stupid stuff. Ugh. Ugh. Yep. Good. It sounds like you're in good fighting spirit, okay, Robin? But you don't even have to turn on, you don't have to be aggressive or nasty. You just, it is what it is, okay? You're not putting any energy. That's good. Just let it flow, whatever it is. All right, Fluffles. We're good to go. I got to check your notes again. Hold on. I got to go back in the... Give me a second, Fluffles. I need to go, excuse me, back in the notes to see if I can find your... where is it? Okay. Oh, I keep gonna... Oh, I got it. Okay, stay there, Fluffles. I'm just reading right now. Okay, here's my question. I've made some really positive changes in my life over the last few weeks. Oh, okay. I'd like to know what's coming my way in the next 3 months and what area it pertains to that you pick up. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's encouraging. Deliberate attempts to change. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to go back over here. Okay, so it's sort of like a... Wait a minute, didn't I see something? I think I missed something in the notes. Hold on. Something about you set up your business or something? If you want to catch up with me, Fluffles, in the chat, just let me know, but I'm going to get started on your reading anyway, okay? So we're very well shuffled in advance here. Well, you should be proud of yourself, Fluffles. Doing a lot of self-help, self-improvement stuff. Sometimes it's really hard. Often what I do is I ask for interventions. I pray for my invisible friends, my guardian angels, my interns, my friends on the other side to guide me and help me and bring to me that which is mine so I can just deal with it. And then remove from me that which is not mine so I don't have to carry those burdens anymore. Okay. Okay. All right, let's have a look. Yes, I started my business just recently. Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's go on. Let's keep going. We can dive right in, actually, can't we? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to handle things going forward. Let's have a look. Thank you, by the way, for booking your readings here. I'm very honored to read for you. Externally, Hierophant. Oh, whoa. This is the Hierophant. I'm very pleased to see this for you, Fluffles. What this is telling me is that there's a very powerful message coming to you from the universe. In other words, like a mirror. Let's say you just get up and go out for a walk and look around. You understand that when you really take charge and love thyself, it sends out like a powerful aura to the heavens, to the universe, to your own invisible friends, to your archangels. And it resonates back to you. And what I'm sensing here is that it's like you are, this is like an affirmation from the planets, from the angels, that you're on path and that you're already doing the right thing and there's more to do in terms of restructuring your life and creating what essentially amounts to a new constitution. Okay? If you think of this as like in a business where you are setting out your mission statement, your guiding principles. Who am I? What am I here to do? Why am I here to do this? When, where, who, what? What are my principles? Integrity and so on. So it would be the equivalent. The heavens are basically saying that they recognize that you have been putting a lot of work in on yourself to the point where they can see that you have effectively begun crafting your own constitution for you, Fluffles, and your business through which you express yourself. And it's virtually a declaration of independence, okay? So it's like you are creating this in your life, in your world going forward. New starts and new beginnings, and with the eclipses coming, everything that was redundant and dysfunctional and had to be set aside, that was inappropriate for your new constitution, your new way of being, your new mission statement, your new way of life, that has to go. And it gets replaced by this. Excellent, excellent. Let's have a look. Situation itself. Okay, well, this is beautiful. You've got the Eight of Pentacles here, so it makes me look like you've already, like you said, you've already started, and you can already see the signs that your efforts are not only having results, but are going to continue to have results, and that you can continue on this path of business. So it's part of it is like investing in yourself, but in business there's usually an element of other people. In other words, successful businesses usually provide goods or services to other people. You provide goods and services to other people, and in return, other people reward you with their energy in the form of money, for example. So what this tells me is that it's like you've done some really very serious fine-tuning to get to the point where you're repackaging yourself, reformatting yourself, restructuring your life, your world, your worldview, your future energy to be aligned with very classic, simple business protocols of providing goods and services, providing quality goods, quality services to other people who respect and require and demand quality goods and services, and reward you accordingly in a very, very appropriate, natural, healthy way. This looks excellent to me. Now, obviously, there's challenges. Let's have a look. Okay, so with the King of Cups here, it sort of makes me feel as though there's a part of you which wishes that you didn't really have to do this. That, like, you're a very powerful woman, okay? So I don't know if over my life, I've encountered powerful women. I like that. A lot of people don't like. A lot of guys get intimidated by powerful women, and a lot of times, powerful women can, like in the reciprocal of what I just said, powerful women can be a turnoff for guys to the point where I don't remember any details, but there was an episodic show when I was a child living in England for a while, and the show was called, I believe it was called A Woman of Substance. Okay, I'm going to go over here. Give me a second, Fluffles. I just want to share this with you. The show was called A Woman of Substance. And it was basically the story, I think it was sort of fictional, loosely based on a woman of substance. Now, when they said a woman of substance, it meant a woman who had like energy, integrity, honesty, life, truth, courage, strength, to the point where she radiated this very strong aura, which was actually disruptive in her community. Like other women were like, hey, back off. You can't go around behaving like you do. You'll scare off older men. How on earth are you going to get married and have babies in a home and, so you can do diapers and do dishes and make food and clean? The traditional role. How are you going to get that? And this woman is just like, excuse me, I got stuff to take. I got stuff to do. And so she carries on in her journey as a woman of substance. And there's also the drama about, dating and things. And it was oldie worldy, like a period piece, like in the 1800s or something. So they all would dress up in period costumes and so on. And for some reason, I really enjoyed the show. And I kept thinking, like, this woman is really cool. This woman is really cool. But in the story, there were several storylines where in different episodes where some guy would be attracted to her because, like, well, she's cool, she's successful, she's got money, man, and so she would attract like gigolos or someone who would like present themselves as a fake guy in order to earn favor with her, so that they could piggyback on the back of her awesomeness and so on. And she was essentially like, and I actually know a few women who are what I would call women of substance, and they do not tolerate BS from anybody, male or female, young, old, black, white, pink, yellow, green, whatever. They are women of substance, and I respect that. However, when I see the King of Cups here, it makes me feel like, oh my God, I'm Fluffles. I can't help being who I am. I'm naturally successful. I'm good at business. I want to do it. It's natural to me. But does this mean I'm going to be all lonely and there's not going to be any some kind of like big male, nice cuddle bunny for me? For me? What about me? What happens when I go home at night? That kind of thing. Okay? So let's have a look. Let's keep going. But don't worry, Fluffles. You are a woman of substance. So let's have a look. How are we going to deal with this thing going forward? You don't want to self-sabotage. Okay, let's have a look. Going forward. Okay. So with the Devil card here, it's another, like a big card. It's a arcana, so it might feel as though things are a little bit fated. It's like going forward. I'm sensing two messages here, okay? I have to be very careful, Fluffles. It's coming in very strong, very, very powerful. Please do not trap yourself into certain expectations or certain what someone else might call predetermined outcomes that you think, like, from an innocent perspective might be really good and awesome and great for you, but in fact would be a form of bondage or imprisonment or limitations. So I'm sensing two things. Contracts. Okay? Contracts. Anytime in your business, as you move forward and advance and grow your life and your world and your business, be extremely careful of the fine print and the legal structure of any contract in which you engage or sign your name, to which someone else is a signatory. Be extremely hyper careful so that you do not unwittingly trap yourself in what might be, from your point of innocence here and very good wholesome intentions, might backfire against you and leave you self-sabotaged and trapped into something which you didn't want. Okay, the second message I'm sensing here goes back to a little bit of this, where let's say things are going well for you. You've done a lot of work on yourself and you're advancing and you're becoming successful, enjoying the rewards, and you feel you're getting a bit of a grip on life, and you put energy into it, you honor your protocols, you stick by your mission statement, and so on and so on. And at the end of the day, you get that thing like, oh God, does anybody love me? I'm awesome. I'm great. I'm highly desirable. I'm a superb catch. And then what happens with this is, if you shackle yourself to that belief system, you're actually hurting yourself and perpetuating it. Also, if you shackle yourself to a certain expectation about this, then that could backfire against you. In other words, it's almost like I want to just throw these cards away and just deal with this, and suggest that over here and over here, just focus on the business. Do what has to be done. Create your new constitution, your new business. Do what has to be done. Provide the goods and services that you provide. Enjoy the rewards. Build as you would do as a naturally capable woman, as a woman of substance. Just focus on doing that. And don't worry about this. Set it aside. And allow things to unfold naturally in terms of your personal life, rather than strapping yourself to someone or something or a contract or a relationship that ultimately would shackle you and impede this. Because this looks really good to me. This looks more like fear that you are creating from within yourself, possibly from uncomfortable or unpleasant past experiences that still make you feel scared and weak and frightened and uncomfortable today. Okay? So it's very much about be in the present, live in the now. Keep at it with your upgrades in your own life, your new operating system, your new mission statement, your new personal constitution. Just focus on that, focus on that. That's really all you have to do. And understand that this looks more like fear to me. This looks like your own fear working against you. And once you're aware of that, in other words, so TL, you're talking about self-sabotage here because of expectations not being met, rather than allowing life to unfold naturally? Oh, I see what you're saying. And when you have that new level of awareness, then this dissolves. Okay? All right, so don't be scared. All right, don't be scared. Just keep going. But understand, at certain times, you can be your own worst enemy. So you might want to factor that into the Constitution. Like when you recognize, like, uh-oh, I'm in one of those situations in my brain or whatever, contract or client or something, where I'm feeling all those characteristics of being my worst enemy. Aha! But once you know it, once you recognize it, then you can kind of go, all right, I know how to get rid of that and go back to this. Okay? Fear. False evidence appearing real. This is false evidence appearing real, okay? You're basically scaring yourself. You don't need to, all right? Thank you very much, Fluffles. There you go. There's your mini reading. All right, I'm going to be over. I'm going to clear this all up. And we're going to go again. There we go. just showed up. Mr. Bubba. Mr. Bubba. Well, thank you, folks, for hanging out with me. I'm glad I got to give a couple of readings. I'm glad you got something out of that reading, Fluffles. Esther's saying you loved that show. Are you talking about A Woman of Substance? You saw that, so you know what I'm talking about, Esther? They had it. Did they have it in America, or was it? I thought it was a British show made in England, like oldie worldy. Am I hearing you right, Esther? You've seen that show? I thought it was epic. It was good stuff. Good night, everybody. Good night, Tina. Good night, Robin. Who am I missing? Ivona was here. If you're still here, good night, Ivona. See, well, let me just think. When is the eclipse? Okay, the eclipse is basically in about a week from tomorrow. Okay, so it is a full moon. It's the Aries sun with the moon in Libra. So it's going to be right on the nodal axis, the Aries-Libra nodal axis. And then a couple of weeks later, we have the big eclipse that everyone's talking about. It's just another eclipse. I'm not freaking out about it. I just see it as another eclipse, frankly. And I think the things that make people... Hi, Bubba. Hi. Hey, Bubba. The things that were interesting to me, Love Triber gave me some notes about it, that if you follow the path of the eclipse, apparently it crosses over about 8 or 9 towns across America that all have the same name, Nineveh. And apparently that's some kind of very important name in the Bible. I don't know anything about that, but it seems like a very bizarre coincidence to me. Thanks, Bubba. I have to get dinner for Bubba. All right, okay. Who am I missing? What did I miss? Okay. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out. I'm going to leave this up here for a few moments while you have your own, you can check out with each other. I'll just do this myself, and we will say good night for another week. So what's happening is we'll see you on the verge of the eclipse, okay?